have been the longest standing competitor side by side with Dan Wheldon. And in order to be someone like that, you are also Dan Wheldon's friend. That's simply the way Dan Wheldon was. Those drivers then said, of any driver that would have started this race or did start this race today, the one who would be telling us to get back in the race car is Dan Wheldon. And that's why, guys, they've decided to do, albeit on a limited time here, exactly that, an honor and tribute to their friend.
Dan Wheldon in the United States, but quickly decided that the United States was his newly adopted home, and this is where he wanted to be. Dan Wheldon settled in St. Petersburg, Florida, and loved the city, loved being a part of it, loved participating and being a part of the Honda Grand Prix of St. Pete. Has lived there for the better part of a decade, and I'm sure the passing of Dan Wheldon will be more dramatic in that town, as he had become a very big part of the happenings in St. Petersburg. Immediate concerns is for Susie, for Sebastian, and for Oliver. But at the moment right now, the cars have been rolled back on the pit lane in a 3-wide formation, and every crew member has now exited the garage area and the pit stalls, and they will line up on the white line in front of the pit stalls facing the pit line. Michael Young, this is a unique and emotional salute, a tribute that has quite literally evolved in just a matter of minutes here as the drivers departed the meeting, and everyone now, all of the fans on their feet here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Fans have remained to pay tribute to the great racing champion Dan Wheldon, all of the crews and safety workers, members of the staff of the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, as you had said, are lining pit lane. What fitting way to pay tribute to such a great champion as Dan Wheldon, as we all stand and salute him. Fire engine now sounding over the grandstands of Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The drivers take one last tribute to the great Dan Wheldon.
And so I had a second helmet, and I had it in the trunk of my car, and I was all set for him to sign, and never had the opportunity to hand it to him after the big detail. January, the pace car comes across the start-finish line. Fans are now clapping. How appropriate for coming to us.
Another who considered himself a brother to Dan Wheldon. Of course, the three of them were teammates back in Ready Green Racing when Dan Wheldon was the champion of this series. Mike, you had said just a moment ago when these cars left for this ceremonial lap in honor of Dan Wheldon that it was a tough moment professionally. And I can tell you in looking at pit road, it is a tough moment personally for all involved, because it is not too overstated to say that Dan Wheldon was a friend, certainly to most people on this pit road, and that certainly means to the people that he had met, because he was one that when you met him, he made you feel important, he made you feel you knew him. There are a lot of people here who will watch now the ceremonial laps and remember their friend and someone of which everyone inside this facility has a tremendous respect. The memory, the legacy, and the spirit of the Englishman, Dan Wheldon.
For so many years, we come and we gather at these great race facilities and we watch these drivers put on their helmets, get cinched into these race cars, and we hear people say how easy it is, how safe it's become. We forget just how dangerous it is, and just how much these athletes put on the line. Series officials, along with the drivers and team owners, announcing after their meeting just about now a half hour ago that this event will not be completed. Instead, what we will remember here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in these final laps is Dan Wheldon and his great career. for when this past May when he took his former teammate, Brian Herda, to victory lane. As now all of the crew members begin the slow march back to their pit stalls and the very difficult task of breaking down all of their equipment, loading up, and turning their thoughts towards another season in a better year. You would love to think that there would be a time that this would not be a possibility in racing. As the twin checkers wave over the field, back to the main racing machines, 200 miles an hour. The inevitable fact is this can happen. It has here today. So the tribute laps have been completed. And Joseph, there really aren't many words left that can be said on a day like this. Here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, you're part of that driver fraternity that we've talked about. And not only does it cut in a strange way for you guys, but you're the ones that have to look in the mirror and realize just how dangerous it is, you know, and that is the matter of fact. This is not a typical job. This is a dangerous job. You love to race, but there are inherent risks every time you strap in.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Well, what a day. I mean, I think that's great what the guys did on laps like that. And everyone on the line there, right by the grass, that was really good. There's a lot of people out there.
It was an amazing impromptu tribute.
And I think that was a really good point that they said. Dan probably absolutely was guys that
Joseph, we want to say congratulations to you. And certainly, we look forward to seeing you back in a race car appearance with us. Comes with a memory like this, but that is the case. All the best to you during the off season. We hope to talk to you soon. Joseph Newgard, the 2011 Firestone Indy Lights champ, who joined us as our guest analyst here today at the IZOD IndyCar World Championships presented by Honda. Let's get an update from pit lane, Chief.
I wanted to let people know it is our job, obviously, right, to talk to these brave men and women and get their thoughts on racing and on qualifying and in being in the race car. It was requested upon us that drivers not be asked to do interviews after this tribute to Dan Wheldon, and I certainly hope it's with the understanding of the fan base here at the IZOD IndyCar Series that unless the drivers so choose voluntarily to do otherwise, that we honor that request. Because as I watched the series champion Dario Franchitti out of the car, he immediately goes to his wife and asks, should we? He was very close to Dan Wheldon, many of these drivers were, but all of them, I'm sure, along with thinking about Dan Wheldon, as Dario Franchitti gets out and immediately plants a very long and emotional hug to his father. This is a time for these men and women who pilot these race cars to be with their families